Yes, everybody, welcome back to the Talk of the Town podcast. I'm your host, Andy Burrows, and as you can see or still hear, yes, we are still available on audio. I'm joined by Dunstable Town Vice Chairman and my good friend, Mr. Matty Carrington. Matty, how are you, sir? Good to see you at a football match last night.
Yeah, definitely. It was really nice to actually get to see people kick a ball about with a bit of competitive nature. Still not the real thing at the minute, but it's a nice alternative until we get back at the end of the month. And I have to admit, only one pre-season game and still miles better than what I had to endure on Sunday.
We'll have our England chat. Don't worry. It's good to be actually talking some more
Proper
Dunstable than
football.
proper
Yeah.
football, as I tweeted out the other day. But yeah, mate, the Steve O'Reilly era is underway, albeit pre-season.
Mhm.
Dunstable Town 4, Sarah 1. Fairly competitive game in front of about
Yeah.
125 people up on AP2 last night. Sarah sent down a decent side for a really competitive game. Steve obviously mentioned I was in and around the change room. He said, like, literally, it's some of the first time some of these lads had met. Like he said, some of them had one session, some of them had been at all of them, some have had no training sessions. And we put together a squad of about 18, 19, 20 players
Mhm.
last night that I thought played for a friendly. Was a really competitive game. Obviously, Dunstable coming out 4-1 winners, mate. Always hard when you put together a new team. And let's be honest, Steve has put together pretty much a whole new squad, albeit 4 or 5 or 6 maybe players still around from last season. Obviously, you got Butty and a few others that are still around. Davo was there last night,
Mhm.
albeit still injured and still part of the drinking club on the sidelines. But what did you make of what you seen last night, Matt? Like you say, it was good to see the boys back out on the pitch. You can never judge pre-season results. Win's a win, and we all love winning games of football. But what did you make of what you seen last night from the new look Dunstable Town?
Very encouraging. Very, very encouraging, I have to admit. At first, when we obviously had quite a few players decide to apply their trade elsewhere, the first thought is, well, I just hope that the players coming in can be competitive. But to be fair, yeah, to a player, I think everybody really performed relatively well last night. Yeah, there's still people that, as you say, I think there was one or two that I've not even seen before who literally turn up on for their first game, and if that's the first time they've seen the rest of their teammates. Yeah, they didn't do the too bad job. So looking forward to seeing the finished article in at the end of July. And as Steve's alluded to before, the team and the squad that starts pre-season might not end the pre-season, so there's still maybe a few more to come in. A couple of people who may feel as though they want to further themselves here. Really looking forward to seeing what he delivers. But yeah, as I said at the start, very, very encouraging. Really looking forward to it. And yeah, future's brighter. I honestly believe that.
Yeah, we had some obviously we had Josh, Gavin, Joe, Luca, and Mason Davis all on the score sheet last night. Joe, I was really
Mhm.
impressed with Joe. I've seen he's been at training and stuff. Joe Hankins, really good, really good player, mate. Been really impressed by what I've seen with him. Is there always some sort of maybe trepidation, Matt, when you go into these kind of scenarios? Obviously, you're vice chairman, but you're like me, you're a fan. Me and you might sit down and do this every week, but we are Dunstable Town fans, and they're our club. What's the trepidation? Do you feel that when we do lose a lot of the players from last season and a whole new management team comes in? Is there that moment as directors where you think, oh, please God, let this work? You know what I mean? Because I turned around at one point to you last night, and I think a few of us were like, "Who scored that?" And you were like, "Number 17." You just don't know. We don't. Not everyone knows everyone yet. I'm quite
Yeah.
fortunate. I've been at most of the training sessions, so I'm getting to know the lads. A really, really good bunch of guys. But what's is there any like trepidation amongst the directors when this kind of thing happens? Because you guys are running our football club, and when so many players do depart, do you turn up to the first preseason as we get closer to July thinking, "Oh Jesus Christ, please be good"?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think my trepidation came just after they scored their goal. Great goal, by the way. And to be fair to
Well
Sarah,
worked, yeah, well worked.
considering
Goal.
they're a step seven, they I think they'll compete really well this season. But after that, I was like, oh God, please don't. But yeah, honestly, from then onwards, and to be fair, it was a well worked goal. So it's no disrespect to the team that Steve put out that conceded that goal, but the response to the goal I thought was amazing. Yeah, no heads down, really tails up. and from the second half, there was only going to be one winner. I was having a chat with a couple of the Saracen guys afterwards, and obviously, wish them luck, etc. And they said, that we essentially did play them off the park. They were adult enough to admit that. Obviously, I know this Saturday is going to be a different prospect because it's a Step 5 club playing another Step 5 club, but I have no reason to believe that we're not going to be as competitive as we were last night on Saturday. So bring it on, bring on Ardley, bring on Kings Langley. We're going to win it all this season. I've already decided.
Oh no! They're going to Matt. They're going to come for us. No.
Bring it on. I don't care.
Everyone tweet Matt. Don't tweet me. Everyone tweet Matt. I'll put his Twitter handle in when I tweet this out later. Don't come for me. Oh my god. I hope it's going to be a competitive season, mate. I think it's going to be. I mean, I've been like I said, I've been at every training session helping the guys out this season. Steve Luton's kindly asked me to come and help him out, so I've been at every training session. And what was evident last night, they do this little thing called murder ball at the end of every training session. Our fitness levels last night, there was still a few lads that you can tell maybe need a few more, but you could tell the lads that, and that's no disrespect, I'll probably be the same if I hadn't played or trained for ages. It's the first preseason. No one's going to be super, super fit. But you could tell what was good to see. I could tell what the lads have been doing in training was evident on the football pitch, especially in that second half. Like, I think Steve and Rich and Eldie and Swanee and John, they're very conscious, like, we're going to be a high pressing team. And I thought that was evident yesterday in the second half. I think everything to a man was what Steve wanted. It is kind of the nearest man. Close the ball down. Let's not give people time. And that was evident all round the field. And the things that I've seen from a training session, little bits and pieces were cropping up in that game yesterday. And Steve was, he admitted, he said, we've still got stuff to work on the training ground, which we are doing. We're back down Creasy Park tomorrow night. We'll all be there training. But what was so good to see was that little bits that I've been watching in training and helping out with, I'm like, wow, now you're kind of seeing the lads take it in. So, and that's going to take time, right, Matt? When you do put a group of players together like this, do we have to? I said this to Steve, and we say this all the time on all the podcasts that I do involving sport. Patience isn't a word we like. Is it going to be even more evident this season? Come July, August, September, we as fans, there's going to be times we're going to be like, "Yep, we're good today," we're competitive. There's going to be the odd game, and I make no qualms about saying this. Well, we could sit down and go, "Wow." We've come up against this experienced team today, and they've scored us. And I hope it doesn't happen as a Dunstable Town fan. Is there going to be that give and take for the first few months? We're going to have to go, hang on a minute. We've put a squad of 20 lads together, albeit few from last season. But are we going to have to be a little bit patient as football fans this season?
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument for that. I have faith, though, that the squad that the guys are starting to assemble should be very competitive. I think the only time we're going to need to potentially be patient is if we're coming up against bigger teams in like the FA Cup and the FA Vars, because I have faith that the league this season is going to be quite level playing field for all. Can't see anybody that's really looking to outspend anybody and bring some big names. I haven't seen many people come down from like Step 3 and Step 4, so I think this is the first season for a long, long time that the best assembled football team will win the league, and it's not going to be a case of we'll bring 9 or 10 players down from Step 3, Step 4, and of course you should win the league. Doesn't give you any right to win the league, but history kind of tells you that those teams are more successful at the minute. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're not going to get, obviously, we've not got Real Bedford this season throwing absolutely oodles and oodles of money at it. I don't think it's going to be anything like that. You're going to have I think you'll have your usual, I think you'll have your Harpendons, your NK Irish, hopefully us. I think you're going to be in and around the mix, obviously, with the traditional style playoffs still in place, so that's added incentive. If come February, March, you're thinking, right, we're not going to win the league. Let's push for third, fourth, fifth. Let's get in them playoff spots. I think Stephen, Swanee, and Rich, and all the boys, and John, I think they're going to, Liam, and all the. I think everyone's going to get a really competitive squad. I think that's what they're going to get. I know we're announcing some signings tomorrow. I'm doing some interviews down at Creasy Park. Won't say who and everything now on the show. This is going out tonight. but we are, there's going to be some experience in there, which I think you need at any level of football. But do you think that's even more important at non-league football, Matt? Chatting to George, the goalkeeper, in the car on the way home last night, he's been around the leagues, and he was saying you always need that level of experience. You can, the old adage saying, apart from Alex Ferguson, Alan Hansen, you never win anything with kids. How important is it, Matt? Do you think that we do get them in their experience head? Someone like Joe Hankins you can tell he's played, he's going to be that leader that we're going to need on the pitch. How important is it for you that we get a little bit of experience to not help these youngsters? That's probably the wrong word, but Step 5 football and non-league football. You're going to need, sometimes we're going to be away at Cockfosters on a Tuesday night. It's going to be pouring with rain. That's where some of the old experienced lads will be like, right, this is how we're going to fucking win this game. It's going to be in your face. It's going to be ugly. We're not really be able to play football, and we're going to nick this 1-0. Important that you have them experienced lads round, right?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it could be argued that the teams we had, especially in like the first season, were quite inexperienced. With the players that Joe brought in, and we only really started kicking on when we then had Jammers come in. That old head that's used to getting kicked 9 or 10 times, and they know the game, they know the tactics within the game of how to, essentially get the 3 points. But yeah, I think you're right. There's a few older heads within the squad. Obviously, you've mentioned Joe Hankins a couple of times. He still looks like a 12-year-old. So, but yeah, he's been around the block.
I didn't say that, Joe.
I have to admit, Jack and I, we were watching a few players last night, and the one that comes to mind, experience-wise, and very vocal was, I don't know his name, but number 4 at the back. I thought he was very, very vocal, which helped the players that he had around them. I don't know how old he is, but if he is a young lad, he's had a tough paper round. So I'm hoping if he signs, that should be quite a good bit of experience at the back. But yeah, I mean, and I think Steve's alluded to it a couple of times that he's still got a couple of other players coming in who have been around the block a bit more seasoned than the other players. So yeah, it's certainly looking positive.
It is, mate. It is. Obviously, let's look a little bit ahead. We've got the FA Cup draw and the Vars draw, right? I think it's coming up this Friday morning. I think we should know
that's right.
late morning. With your vice chairman head on now, Matty, what are you hoping for from the FA Cup this season? It hasn't been too kind to us the last couple of seasons, mate. I do remember one of my first seasons at Dunstable with North Greenford at home. I was still having nightmares. 1-0 up and then got absolutely thumped. Did okay last season, had a little bit of a run, but I know that you want a good 3 or 4 games in that, mate. Get the old coppers in there. But yeah, what do you hope for this? Obviously, the FA Cup on Friday and the Vars getting drawn. That'd be great. That's definitely got potential. You could have a great run in the Vars. I'm right in thinking the FA Cup is not going to be as regionalised as it has been in previous seasons. So you might have to get on the old blower to the coach company, mate. We could be heading off on our travels. But as a club, Matt, how important is the FA Cup? We start on the 3rd of August. It's going to be our first game in it. For any non-league club, the FA Cup is mega, mega important. It's not to be taken lightly. For Dunstable Town, mate, where does that sit for you?
Yeah, you're bang on there, mate. I mean, last season, obviously going out very early against MK Irish, and the the money we received from the FA Cup was £375, which you get as a losing team in the extra prelim. Whereas the previous season to that, obviously we went through, I think it was 2 rounds, got knocked out by Sheffield in the 3rd round. It's £5,000. Just for winning 2 games of football. And I'm going to go on my soapbox a little bit.
Go for it. I'm listening.
A bit of a tangent, but I just want to put out there how disgusted I am that the FA has yet again not put up the prize money, especially in these early rounds of the FA Cup. Don't get me wrong, any money that we receive is nice, but with the FA saying that they're committing to making sure that everybody within the game is treated fairly, to only put up prize money in the actual FA Cup rounds and completely ignore the amount of money that the clubs receive at this stage. It's still the same levels as the first season after COVID, which when you think COVID's been 4 years ago, they halved that after COVID. and they're still the same levels. Yeah, yes, they are doing a lot of work to improve the prize money in the ladies' game, and rightfully so.
Mhm.
But I do think the grassroots football has once again been completely ignored by the FA. So, soapbox over. Let me climb down off
No,
that
no.
thing.
Is there a way
And
that is there any way that we can? Is there anything that non-league clubs can do? I don't know. Obviously, I know you attended league AGM, but with the FA, I mean, the FA probably the glitz and glamour of the Premier League and etc. etc. And we know how their bread's buttered, mate. You've only got to look. You know, you're a Liverpool fan. I'm a Tottenham fan. Never play on a Saturday at 3 o'clock. There's a reason for that. It's always on a Sunday, or etc. etc. Is there anything as a non-league community that can be done maybe to say, look, don't get me wrong, and it is amazing what they're doing with the women's game, and so much more money should be pumped into it. And I know we've got a great women's side down at Dunstable Town now, and I'm all for that, and I'm all for backing that. But for our senior men's team and the prize pot, and as a club, you are right, it is disgusting that the way that these things aren't distributed fairly, especially when you see some of the nonsense and some of the money that is going into football at the higher end. Do you think it is a case, Matt, of the us being, as a non-league club, and we're not full time, and the glitz and glamour of the Premier League, and all the TV revenue and the sponsorship deals, and this, and this, does it get overlooked sometimes for non-league clubs? And is there anything that we can legitimately do? It's all right going, well, you can send a few tweets here and there. We all do that, but is there hope that maybe in 2-3 seasons that the prize pot could change for teams like Dunstable Town?
well, I mean, being brutally honest with you, the fact that last season the decision to cancel the replays was exclusively decided by the Premier League teams
Mm,
tells you all you need to do. When you think that's 20 teams out of, I think it's 500 odd teams in the FA Cup last
yeah.
season. What else you need to say, really? I mean, the only thing we can do is potentially lobby at UMB. Obviously that's just about to change for some people, but
That's going to change for
it,
a lot of people.
it might be worth lobbying our MPs and seeing if there's any sort of thing we can do, because the grassroots football needs a voice, and I just feel at this current time that they don't get the voice beyond the usual 2 or 3 candidates.
Mm. You've had your soapbox moment. Can I? Can I have?
Go
Can I?
for it,
Can
yeah.
I have mine? Look. You first of all, you guys have worked a miracle by getting the football season to be started on a Saturday. Incredible. Saturday the 27th of July, Dunstable Town. Hopefully, we'll be playing on a nice, hot, sunny day. Anyway, Matty, the fixtures I found out last week, speaking to good old Dan Rand Roberts, our director, good lad. 20th of July, the fixtures come out, Matt. 1 week before the season kicks off. Now, what in the Sunday League is going on here, Matt? How on earth can we sit here now on the 3rd of July? We all know what teams are in what league and who's playing where, and that's all done and dusted. We haven't got to worry about who, what, where, when, why, and how. On God's green earth, Matt, how are the fixtures not coming out to the 20th? We kind of have this joke every season. Last season, was it circumstances? We
Yeah.
get it. Not here to. Last season was last season. I think they put out the first month last season. Me and you were chatting last night at the game saying, well, surely we can find out even the first game. Just
Yeah, you
so
think?
just so Steve and the boys can have a little preparation in your mind. Like, right, we're playing MK Irish away, for argument's sake. We're playing Harpenden at home, etc., etc. You can start to plan. You know what's going on. Is there a reason, Matt, that you may know of with your magical hat on and these meetings that we attend, that why the fixtures are coming out a week before the season starts? I mean, I can imagine Scotty watching this now, literally shouting at me. I get some angry tweets from him when he found out the fixtures weren't coming out to the 20th. What's the reason behind it, Matt? Do we know?
Haven't got a clue. I mean, I know that they are using a third party to create all the fixtures, but I don't understand the logic of not even putting out the first week or 2 weeks worth of fixtures. It defies any logic to me. I know that it might be worth an email off to the fixture secretary to see if there's anything that can be done, because I mean, was it now the 3rd of July? So even if, as you say, we get the first round of fixtures
Just give us the
out of
first
the way.
week. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, and then obviously we move on to the FA Cup, and then from there onwards, we hopefully we'll get the fixtures. But yeah, I mean, is it annoying? Yeah, because especially for Steve and the guys, because they don't know how they're going to set their team up, because they essentially don't know who they're going to play against. And if you're given the time, you can coach and scout enough to give you as many advantages as you can. Whereas I guess everybody's in the same playing field, on the same level playing field. we're all going to be find out at the same time, and then we can make the decisions there. But I wasn't at the AGM, but I'm surprised that it wasn't raised as to why it wasn't. It wasn't given us at least the first couple of weeks. So
yeah, it's kind of like
strange one for me.
they've gone like, we've given you your Saturday, your fixtures, you can bloody well wait. Yeah, I nearly swore Pete. I didn't swear. Pete always commented, Andy, stop swearing on the podcast. Okay, I'm not swearing. I'm not swearing. Matty, just a few other bits and bobs from Dunstable Town, mate. Some directors have left, and we'll say we'll be professional, but they've gone upstairs. What's going on within the club, Matty? Obviously, some new. The club AGM was last Friday. I couldn't make it myself. I was out and about in town. But just to inform the listeners and the people watching on YouTube, the club AGM was last Friday. What was the main cusp of the things coming out of the AGM, mate? I know some new directors were appointed. I know it's been a little bit of a reshuffle, all for the good of the club, and I think it's really good. The names that obviously I spoke about, but I'll let you tell all our fans, mate, what's gone on in the last week.
Yeah, sure. So as you say, on Friday we had our AGM attended by, I think there was 20, 30 people there, which is good turnout for an AGM, especially on a Friday night with football on. But the main cusp of it was obviously to give the supporters and the owners the opportunity to question us to see how they think we're getting on. A couple of questions came out about the slight loss that was made as a football club, but that was just due to some reorganisation. Obviously, we've taken on the youth section. We've realigned everything with the youth section and ladies section, and there's been some learnings, and we're adult enough to admit that as a club, but those learnings will help us really progress on this season. As you say, there's now some new directors, so just wanted, before I name the new directors, just wanted to thank Lee Nania and Julian Nutley, who have
definitely 100%.
stepped down but are still on board. So they've become non-executive directors. So they now don't have to attend the directors meeting every 4 weeks and be bored out their mind talking to Andrew.
Matt said that, not me. Just saying, he's digging a lot of holes today in his show.
Worth a digging up, pot shots everywhere, and nobody can have a go. But yeah, so they've, as I say, stepped upstairs, as you said. Jill Lee's still remaining on board as our treasurer, so I'm really happy with that because the club finances are in really, really good hands with him. And I just want to thank them both for all their hard work whilst being directors. We certainly moved on leaps and bounds since they've come on board to the club. So yeah, I think they've earned a well-deserved rest. In regards to the new directors, as you say, we've got a few new ones. So I'm hoping I'm not going to forget them all here. So welcome on board.
There's one of them you better not forget.
Tell me about it. Oh, Jesus. So welcome on board to Corey Vu, to Luke Shepherd, to Rupert, and Matt Collins, and obviously the one I better not forget is Jackie Carrington, who's my wife. Couldn't stand football. Couldn't stand football before I met her, but now she can't miss a single game, which is great. But yeah, welcome aboard to all those guys. Really looking forward to working with them all. The early conversations that we've been having on the directors page has been great. We're going to have a directors meeting very, very soon, so we can firm up who's going to be doing what, when, and etc. etc. But yeah, it's really bright with that. Then there was a couple of other bits and pieces we discussed. So we have named voted for our new walkout music. So basically the previous season, what we've done is given it up to the captain to decide the walkout music. And I'm sorry, Alfie, I'm going to call you out. Your walkout music last season was that abhorrent. I've had to take it off the captain's hands, and we've actually given it to the owners to decide now. So this on the 27th onwards.
Lucky you work at a funeral parlour digging all these fucking...
From the 27th of July onwards, we'll be walking out to Darude Sandstorm, which is a great walkout, upbeat song to walk out to. So yeah, looking forward to that. And it's great that we were able to give that choice to our owners. And when you think we've only been an owner-based club for the last 4 seasons, and the decisions we've been able to give our owners, the badge that we're both wearing with pride, the kits that are looking amazing, all these bits and pieces, and obviously voting us onto the boards. That's all been decided by our owners. So yeah, just a quick plug. Obviously, our ownership window is now open. So if anybody else wants to change the future for the better for the club in the future, just click on our website and become an owner today.
I met a new couple down. I'm useless with names. I just about remember Matt's. You know, they just moved. They used to go and watch Pitstone, and they were there last night. I got introduced to them. They said they're going to take up like the season ticket and the ownership one. So it was their first time watching Dunstable last night. So I really welcome them. They said they like shouting and drinking beer. I was like, you're already in the regiment.
In the
Unless
right
you
place,
passed, yeah. Scotty will come and find you. You're already going to be in it. But yeah, you know, it's good that we're attracting new fans, Matt, and you know, like I say, 125 odd people there last night. Bearing in mind, like the Euros are on, it was up on AP2, the best of nights. It was okay, but yeah, the club is moving in the right direction, mate. Is there just quickly touching on obviously the new directors, and I always say this to you, and I don't want any trade secrets given away. What's the ultimate aim as a club now? Every season we have an aim that, like, we've gone through the ownership stuff, the community stuff, the ladies football's been developing. We've got the great community work. Them interviews are dropping soon that I recorded a few weeks ago. It's really hard to put it all together. Brad, he's doing an amazing job on his YouTube, by the way. That kid is unreal. I say this all the time, just why I'm quickly mentioning it. What Brad does on this YouTube channel is bloody incredible.
100%.
What's the not focus, probably the wrong word. We have various things throughout different seasons that we're looking at. The community work, as I say, is incredible that we're now doing with the walk in football and all the other great stuff that we do. Is there a main focus for the club as we go into the 24-25 season now, Matt, that you really, we want to sit here this time next season and go, right, we absolutely nailed that as a football club last year?
Yeah, I mean, when we were talking as directors a few weeks ago, before the new directors come on board, one of the things we mentioned was not a reduction in owners, but not an increase that we'd like to see year on year. So this year, for myself especially, I really want us to focus on the amount of owners that we have. But overall, I mean, the remit of the club remains the same, to improve the life of others. If that's on a Saturday afternoon cheering on the club and watch us climb the league, so be it. If that's helping the various groups we have with their physical and mental well-being, it's all about improving the life of others at Dunstable Town Football Club, and I think that's what we do. But yeah, I want people to feel as though they can have the onus to own a part of the Dunstable's community football club, and just I'll say it again: become an owner. It's great, honestly. I know it's easy for me to say when I've fully on board, but if anybody out there has a friend that isn't an owner, just get them to come along, or even buy their ticket to come in for the first game, and get them to get involved in this club, because honestly, I came along. I think I've told the tale many times. Just a Saturday afternoon, just because Dunstable needed some more supporters, I got hooked. And one of my friends who, one of the people that I call my friend now, Chris White, or Cupcake as everybody knows him, he's the first person that I got talking to, got involved with him. From there, started speaking to other people. We're a friendly club. Everybody will be able to find a group of friends at Dunstable Town, and just come on down, please. Honestly.
Yeah, I'd come to watch one game, and when my dad was involved before he moved away, etc., etc., I come to watch a game, and now look at what we're doing. Look at where someone said this to me at a training session, and they were relatively new to. I hadn't met them before. They were just standing outside the gate, and I think they were waiting for someone. One of their kids was playing on another pitch, and we just got chatting. And he said, like, the media presence that he sees from Dunstable now is what's got him to think, oh, I'll come down and watch on a Saturday. A lot of people have mentioned to us last season, oh, I didn't know you were playing, but then I heard you guys talking on your podcast. Oh, this game's coming up on Saturday. So it's the world we live in now. Everything's YouTube and audio and stuff like that. And what you guys have set up off the field with all the community support groups, the walking football, the names getting more and more out there now. And I think that's important. It's important in any level of football, but at our level of football, literally every penny does help. And I truly mean that, whether that's getting us an away kit, whether that's getting us some more footballs, whether that's getting us some bibs, tracksuits that nothing's comes easy at any level of football. But when you're a step 5, step 6, everything needs people and it needs support, and everyone's a volunteer down at Dunstable Town, and I think what's going on at our football club is nothing short of amazing. because where we're going and what we're doing with it is incredible. And like Joe Deeney said to us last season, he said it's our job on the pitch to keep up with the vision off the pitch.
Mm.
Everyone, I bug you 1,000 times a day with text messages, and because you're just wanting to keep the club growing, keep it moving, get the name out there. 300 people on a Saturday will turn to 450, will turn to 500, will turn to 600. Step 5 will turn to step 4, will turn to step 3. Everything. I remember the days of watching Willstone play at this level when I was a young lad. They're in the conference now.
Yeah.
They were literally where Dunstable Town are now. They were jumping around ground, sharing at Yeading, sharing at Northwood. You know, James Smith, good friend of ours, he'll tell you, me and him were involved with Willstone for many years. They were what we are doing now. So you should always have that ambition of wanting to go, right, we're going to go with this is what we're doing this side of the pitch with the podcast, with the YouTube that Brad and Abby and everybody, the Instagram, that we've got people like Octavian and everyone else involved now. Yourself, Matt, Ian Bateman, what goes on there. You should never be shy of saying, look, we just want to keep this juggernaut moving. Never be embarrassed. You know, you get some idiots on social media. Oh, you're doing this, you're doing. Never be embarrassed of trying to want to move our football club on and make it bigger and make it better. And now you've only got, you sit down and you listen to like Steve, Liam, Swanee, Rich, and John talk. Their vision is as incredible as ours. You know, they're not going to sit here and go, well, you know what, we might want to finish 14th or 15th this season. We'll be at no. Let's try and let's aim to win the bloody league. And if we can't, let's get in the playoffs and let's move up a step. And then when that moving up a step will open up more stuff for us to do on like a media side of it, mate. So yeah, mate, where Dunstable Town is now. So to echo your words, mate, if you want to get involved, if you want to become an owner, just do it. Just get in contact with Matt, myself, anyone at Dunstable Town. We'll help you out. And we'll, like I said, I met them lovely couple last night. First time at Dunstable, like we're getting a season ticket. We're becoming owners. Boom, done. There you go. Something to do. It's 5 minutes from their house on a Saturday afternoon, you know. And they said they've never done away games. So they said they're going to try and do a few away games. I was telling them, I said, oh, you're loving away days. Brilliant. When we all go away, we have a great laugh. Hopefully it comes back to what we said earlier with the FA Cup. We can get like a decent FA Cup away game. I know you're going to want a couple for the old Coppers, Matty, but I think me and Scotty, I think Scotty and a few of the boys might want to get on a coach and have a little jolly up to Liverpool or something. But it is great. It is great, mate. So yeah, I'm really, really proud of what's going on at Dunstable Town at the minute. Just finishing up on a little bit of football, Matty. These million cup games that we have during the season, we're not sure what's going on with the league structure this year. There's talk of like the Gladwich Cup and everything, all these other cups being turned into a mini tournament,
mini league thing,
league played on a Saturday. But am I right in thinking they're not going to decide this till January? You might be able to tell our listeners and supporters a little bit more about it. It's going to kind of be like a Champions League kind of thing. Is that right? Have I got that wrong?
Yeah. So basically, I think from my understanding, there's going to be leagues of 3 or 4 teams in each. The reason they're looking to do it is obviously we've lost a couple of teams because we had 20 teams in the league last season. That's now gone down to 18 due to the latest restructure. So in theory, there's going to be at least 4 weeks free, which means, again, in theory, you can fit a few more games in. I'm not the biggest fan of mini leagues and stuff like that, but at the same time, I suppose there's benefits to it. So from my understanding, you're going to be playing home and away games in these, which when you think, especially for ourselves, if you have, well, all the clubs actually, if you have an away game, and obviously there's the expectation to get there, pay for the facilities, etc., and pay the players all their travel expenses, you earn literally nothing from that. Whereas, and if you have an away game and then an away game, and you can literally hit the final without having a single home game, but obviously potentially hemorrhage quite a lot of money through one thing or the other. Whereas with this format, potentially you're going to have a couple of home games, so there's an opportunity to maybe earn a couple of quid there through the gate. I can't say I'm a fan though, if I'm being honest with you, and time will tell, because if it hits January and we've had a load of postponements, I'm assuming they're going to go to the classic knockout competition. I suppose they're doing it quite sensibly, that they're not committing to it until after Christmas, so they actually know how far they are along in terms of the league program. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, whatever happens, you know, I'm not that fussed about the Dudley Laff and the Gladwich Cup. If we reach the final, yeah, that's probably about my only interest in it.
Yeah, mate, you don't have to be Mystic Meg to know December, January, February, ice, rain, snow, we're going to have a game called off. Let's not pretend that we're not Creasy. We are. It's happened every season since I've been watching Dunstable. So yeah, it's an all right idea, but like you say, I can see why they're leaving it till January, but I don't know myself, mate, because I think me and you were chatting before we recorded. Was it not last season before? We tweeted out on the memories on the history, the Dunstable Town, the great the stuff that's been going out on Twitter. I really have been enjoying them. We played one game in January a couple of seasons ago, and that was right at the start. I think we played on like not long after New Year's Day, and then we didn't see anyone until like the second week of Feb. I think it was one of my. I think it might have been. I think I remember coming to the game just before my birthday, February the 12th.
Yeah,
that's when we next played at home. So let's not, beat around the bush and pretend like we're going to have this amazing winter where we're going to play loads of games of football at
no.
Creasy.
Well, I mean, not even in January, February time. If you remember, November, obviously, I went away for 2.5 weeks.
You didn't miss many, did you?
I literally missed one cup game.
Yeah.
We didn't even have a single league game in that whole time. So it's worrying, but we'll see.
It is, mate. It is. I know. Speaking to Steve yesterday, I know that he just wanted me to mention about how grateful he was for all the fans coming. For those watching at you on YouTube, there it is. There, he said it was good to get underway yesterday as expected. Plenty of learning outcomes for us, but really some positive aspects too. Just wanted to say how grateful we are to see so many fans at the game, and we look forward to meeting a lot of you as the weeks go by. I think Steve's been really impressed from what he's seen from us as a football club, mate. They're reciprocating it. Like I said, I've seen the work that's been going on behind the scenes. I was down you were there jet washing all the boards a couple of weeks ago. Swanee was there with a flipping shovel digging out weeds and cleaning. It doesn't have to do that. He's a coach at the football club. So there is that sense of togetherness this season at Dunstable Town, mate. So it's really good what's happening. Anything else from the club, Matty, before we get out of here that you would like to mention, sir?
No, I mean, I guess I'll put a little plug in there about our meeting that we're having down the hub tomorrow. So if there's anyone listening to this podcast or watching this podcast that feels as though they have some digital aspect that they can bring to the club, be it photography, videography, TikTok videos, anything like that, we're having a meeting down at Creasy Park tomorrow, 5:45, in the hub. So whoever comes will get to see our newly decorated hub as well. But please come along and have a bit of experience with the people that's there. And as I say, if there's any expertise that people can share digital wise, we're more than happy to exploit it. I mean, take advantage of it.
Good wording. Big shout. I'm just going to give a little mention to Liam and Cupcake. Obviously, were involved with our photography. Done so much work for the club over the years. Decided this season just to be fans, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're just going to come and watch games and probably stand behind the goal and whack a wheelie bin with Scotty and et cetera, et cetera. But mate, I can't speak highly enough of Liam and Cupcake and all the work that they've done and for the club and the great photography they've done over the years, mate. I know you're echoed in sentiments.
100%. Yeah, as I say, Chris was the first one that I really started speaking to when I come to games. So I've got a good, strong affinity to Chris, Cupcake, whatever he's calling himself this week. So yeah, anytime those guys want to come down, they know they'll be more than welcome at Creasy Park.
Yeah, 100%. I'd spent a lot of time with Cupcake, mate. So yeah, it's been really good to get to know him and get to know all the boys over the years. But yeah, they'll always be welcome at Creasy. But Matty, another episode has come and gone, mate. We will be back tomorrow with some announcements. Can't say what, but we're gonna have some announcements tomorrow. Might be a few new players being signed tomorrow. But Matty, a pleasure as always, mate. You can check us out on Twitter at DTFC Pod. If you want to subscribe to this podcast on YouTube, just go to YouTube, type in Dunstable Town FC. That is where you can find us. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Talk of the Town podcast. I've been your host, Andy Burrows. Till next time, everybody, up the Blues.